Thank you for joining me for week 3 of our Beauty is Wellness Empowered Living series. Week 1, we talked about the healing power of our beauty rituals, why it has the power to change more than just our topical appearance, how it can support healing. Week 2, we talked about choosing the healthiest products, so tips on shopping for personal care treatments, what ingredients to look for. And this week, we're talking about beauty beyond skincare. So we're going to discuss favorite self-care practices, things that you can do that support beauty, but also bring your body into a parasympathetic state. Now you can go back and view the recordings of earlier weeks, and you can join us live for future weeks. And all of these sessions will be available on Unite for Her's page in the Empowered Living library. So for beauty beyond skincare, when we're talking about beauty rituals, we often think of products. Do I have the right serums and moisturizers? Do I have the body products that I need? And I found that so much of beauty and self-care is above and beyond the products themselves. Really, the magic in what we're doing when we care for our bodies is that self-connection and also bringing your body into a place where it is in that parasympathetic state of calm. And in that place, your body can upregulate or renew its focus on your immune system, your hormone health, your overall well-being, your digestion, everything that gets less focus when we're in fight or flight. So when your body is in a state of sympathetic activation, when it is stressed or going through a challenge and something feels stressful all the time, your body will downregulate the things that are not absolutely essential for survival. So we want to be in a place where we can look at all of the things that are going to nourish us and help us to feel balanced, and also deliver energy and resources to healing and helping us to feel our best. And that's what these practices are going to do today. So the great news is there are so many wonderful ways to care for ourselves and find moments of self-connection, and most of them are free. So most of what we're going to talk about today are things that you can add to your day that have no or low cost. And these practices are all non-invasive. They're generally safe for anyone undergoing cancer treatment, but of course it is always best to check with your doctor for personalized recommendations before you begin something new, especially if you're newly diagnosed or undergoing treatment. So my first favorite practice I wanted to share with you, we mentioned, I believe, a little bit in week 1, there was a question about it, and that is dry brushing and also facial gua sha. So practices that move lymph throughout the body. So both of these practices are going to stimulate lymphatic flow, circulation, they improve your skin health, and they may even help with lymphedema. Now, you don't want to brush, a dry brush, or do any gua sha over wounds or irritated skin, and you want to always be really, really gentle. And these practices are not appropriate if you have been diagnosed but have not yet been treated. So the lymphatic system is one of our most important but also most under-recognized systems of the body. It's essential for current health and also for skin radiance, but also for the prevention of disease and our overall well-being, our ability to bounce back after we've been sick or gone through something stressful. So lymph is a translucent, waste-removing fluid that runs just under the surface of our skin. It's essential to our immune health, our energy, and it doesn't have a pump the way our blood has our heart to pump it throughout a body. And without that pump, it relies on our movement. So it relies on our deep and relaxed breathing through our diaphragm, stretching, taking walks or exercising, even self-massage. All of those are ways to move your lymph throughout your body. But some of our modern habits, like sitting for many hours, that's going to work against healthy lymph flow. And stress is particularly damaging to lymphatic flow, as it kind of leads us to take tighter, more shallow breaths and hold tension in our bodies. And that's going to be counterproductive for having that lymph flow well. So the antidote for this, besides balancing stress and having your de-stressing practices, is to actually help lymph move along. You can do that with massage, with deep breathing, with going on walks, even rebounding on a trampoline, which helps to move lymph. One of my favorite practices, though, is dry brushing. And we talked about this in week 1, and today I brought some of my favorite types of brushes to show you. So you can find something that is like this with a handle, or something that you can kind of slip your hand in like this. But what you want to look for is a natural bristle brush that is a bit stiff, but not going to be scratchy where it's going to damage your skin. So it's going to be stimulating when you use it for the dry brushing practice. Now, to do your dry brushing ritual, you can choose to do it before or after bathing. It's up to you. I prefer to do it afterward. I think it's a nice self-care ritual that way. But you're going to take your brush and gently but firmly brush the surface of your skin. So you can start at the tops of your feet, up your legs and your torso, always to your heart. You can brush from your fingertips in toward your heart as well. And you do this all over your body. Again, you don't want to be scratching or doing anything that's painful. You want to do light, stimulating strokes that are going to move your lymph throughout your body, especially if you see any kind of swelling in your limbs. This can be helpful. Now, this gentle brushing and touch stimulates the nerves under your skin, and it creates a calming effect on your entire nervous system. So in addition to helping move that lymphatic fluid, which has detoxifying benefits for your body, it has a real nervous system calming effect. And I find if I do this before bed or in the evening, I sleep so well. To put a next step on this, you can also apply your favorite body oil or a natural body lotion afterward using the same motions. So start at your feet and move up toward your heart. Start at your fingertips and move inward and continue that lymphatic massage. But this is such an easy practice. The only real investment is having a brush that you enjoy and making sure that you take time for it. Whenever you can. I think once a week is a great amount, but you can do it more often if you enjoy. And sort of a sister practice to this, which also has the goal of moving lymph and fluid in your body. We call it gua sha, or it's often linked with the traditional practice of gua sha, which can be done on your body and your face. But we see it linked today to different types of stones that you can use on your skin. So you might see a stone that's shaped a little like this. Sometimes you have a stone that has ridges on it like this, or you might even see a roller, often called a jade roller like this. And each of these tools can be used with the same goal of moving lymph and fluid in your face. Now the practice is very similar. You want it to be super gentle, but even more gentle and feather light when it's on your facial skin. So after you've cleansed your face, if you've applied something that has a little bit of a slip to it, like a facial oil or even a moisturizer that has some slip, then you can do your gua sha practice. So the goal here is to be moving fluid toward the outward sides of your face and then down your neck where it can drain. Now you always want to anchor your skin with a finger, and then you're going to do, again, feather light strokes. Really, the weight of the stone is the only weight against your skin, and that's how you move lymph. And you're always going to be moving outward toward the sides of your face. So you'd stroke one side, you do the other, and then at the end you would do down your neck to drain everything that you have helped to move in your face. And this is a lovely practice because not only is it reducing facial tension, it's really stimulating. It feels really meditative as you do it. You're kind of taking deep breaths. The stone feels so nice against your skin. Layla had the question, this won't give you wrinkles. No, and in effect, it actually helps to prevent the formation of deep wrinkles, especially things like the furrow lines in between your eyebrows or lines here around your jaw, like these marionette lines, because it helps to loosen facial tension. And it is that tension that causes some of those deep wrinkles to form. So when you have something slippery on your face, like an oil or moisturizer, and you have this feather light practice, it's actually going to be moving fluid, not tugging on your skin in a way that would cause wrinkles or cause any kind of pressure to your skin elasticity. And that's the point, that it's really just the weight of the stone, and it's a really gentle practice. I also find if you have jaw tension, so say you clench and you find tightness here, it's really nice to get into your jaw there and just to feel the tension dissolve at the end of the day. And then again, down the neck to help drain. Really simple. The only investment is a stone like this, a roller like this. You can do a similar practice with a roller. It just becomes something that you can do over and over again to take care of yourself, to connect to how am I feeling today? Where am I carrying tension? Is it in my jaw? Is it here in my brow? And how can I release that and just take care of myself and check in with myself? So easy practice, but they all have that secondary goal of moving lymph. So what you might find is that you actually get a little nice tone in your skin. You have reduced puffiness. If you tend to see puffiness under your eyes, you can do a real gentle practice under your eyes. Again, always having the oil or moisturizer on your skin. And it's a nice self-care ritual, one that I love to put into my routine when I have time, and I'm always happy that I do. Next, and this is sort of, again, building on the idea of moving fluid and circulation throughout your body with the practice of massage. Obviously, it feels great to go get a massage. That can be an investment. And if you don't have the time to do that, you can also use that power of self-touch. Now, we talked about this in week 1. Just because there is really established emotional, mental, and physical benefits to touching your skin, to checking in with your body. Just think about putting a hand over your heart and think about the feeling that that imparts to your body. Think about what feeling descends over you when you do that. It's a moment that makes you kind of breathe deeper, check in with yourself. It's that power of self-touch. You're lowering blood pressure and cortisol. You can significantly relax your breathing and calm your nervous system. And that has a snowball effect that benefits your immune function as well. So one of my favorite massages is a check-in with the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is they call it the wandering nerve that goes through your brainstem and innervates your heart and several of your other organs. And it has the power to create calm in your body when it's activated. So an easy way to activate it is through several points that are in and behind your ear. So this is a simple massage sequence that you can do at home, just a few parts here, and I want to lead you through it. So start by just using 2 fingers, and you're gonna find the sort of bump behind your ear. It's called the mastoid bone. You wanna take those 2 fingers and just gently slide from the bottom of that bump to the top of the bump, up toward your hairline. And you're not doing this in a hard way, like a deep tissue massage. It's more like a gentle stroke where you're just feeling yourself connect to your skin. You're feeling a little bit of tension release there. So several slow, calming strokes upward toward your hairline with those 2 fingers. Then you're going to switch directions. So take the same 2 fingers, or you can take the palm of your hand, and you're going to slowly stroke downward from your hairline over the bump, all the way down to your collarbone. And again, do this as many times as you like. It's nice to deep breathe while you do this. You'll feel the release and tension here. Now at this point, you generally switch and do the same on the other side. And then you return to the first side with the soft part of your finger. You're going to put this into the indentation at the top of your ear here. Nothing in your ear canal. You're never going to stick anything in there, but just this indentation right here at the top of your ear. And you're going to move in circular motions in one direction and then the other. And again, you're triggering and connecting to your vagus nerve here. And when you're done with that in a few directions, you're going to repeat it now at the bottom of your ear in this well here. And if it doesn't feel like you want to go in your ear area, you can also just kind of tug gently on your ear and get a little release that way. One direction and then the other. Now, stimulating these areas is that instant relaxation trigger. So say you are in a treatment, say you're at work, you're in a meeting and you feel stressed, you can just do a little bit of that gentle ear tugging or gentle down your neck, and that's going to be a trigger into your vagus nerve to help your body calm down. So it's really nice to know that you can do that very subtly and still connect to your body and check in with yourself. If we're going to go even a step further, we can stimulate our vagus nerve with a scalp massage. And we all know how amazing, how many nerve endings there are all over our scalp. It triggers like an instant ah feeling for your brain and your body. But this is particularly easy to practice on yourself. If you have a little time, you don't have someone to give you a back massage, do this for yourself on a busy day when you might have tension along your brow or behind your ears and your neck. And this, again, is going to have those physical effects of lowering your blood pressure, lowering your cortisol, slowing your heart rate, even restoring circulation to your scalp. So I know someone asked in week 1 about hair health, and we're going to talk a little more about hair nutrition next week. But one of the benefits of scalp massage is reactivating dormant hair follicles, which leads to an increased hair thickness over time. So if you have time to do some scalp massaging, that can help and support as well as nutrition that we'll talk about next week. So for this practice, use the gentle pads of your fingers. Don't use your nails, because even though it feels really good, it increases the risk of damage to your hair follicle. You don't want to scratch. You can also, if you have one, use a little gentle like silicone brush like this, which are popular. They come with a lot of hair products now, so you could also use a little tool like this. But all you really need are your gentle fingers. So you want to start just from your front hairline back to the nape of your neck, repeating several times, just gently combing your fingers. I'm not going to do it today because it involves flipping your head over, but you want to start from the hairline back to the nape of your neck a few times. Start to feel the tension release. Now, after a few rounds of that, flip your head over and comb the opposite direction from the nape to the front hairline. A few times there. And you're going to come back upright, spread your fingers wide, and use the tips to make gentle, stimulating circles all over your scalp, almost like you would do if you were shampooing. Don't forget behind your ears where you will trigger that vagus nerve, just like we did. And then you want to finish with light tapping of your fingertips all over your scalp. And you can even tap your face at the same time for circulation, for calm. If you've heard of the tapping practice, this is one of the movements that you would do. It brings circulation all over here. Super easy, 5-minute practice, has benefits of supporting those dormant hair follicles as well as tapping into that relaxation reflex. So again, super easy, a practice. It doesn't cost anything, but it's nice to have a reminder of how effective it is. Now, another practice I love, but I'm not going to show you today, is reflexology for a foot massage. And I have a detail of how to do this in my book, Well Rested Every Day. Actually, all of these practices are in this book. But page 299, if you have this book, has a detail of how to do a reflexology foot massage. Also very simple, but one of those practices that is transformative when you add it into your routine, just kind of connecting to your body and sending that message that, yes, you're in a place of calm, you're safe, you can prioritize healing, you can sleep well, and those things pay dividends in your body. So bottom line for massage, anytime you lower your stress hormones, you're slowing wear and tear on your body, you're supporting healing and thriving. So anything in this space that feels good to you, I would say go for it for self-massage, for lymph flow, and just releasing tension. Yeah, Cecilia says it feels so good. It really does. It's like so simple, but some of these simple practices feel amazing when you remember to do them. And the last practice I'm going to put in today is something a little more sophisticated and might have a little more investment, but it's something that's interesting to read about and think about, and that's red light therapy. And you might also hear it called LED light therapy. Now, for cancer patients, this can soothe irritated skin. It can speed wound healing, but it is something that you want to check in with your doctor about, depending on where you are in your diagnosis and treatment. But in general, red light therapy is anti-inflammatory, which means it benefits the skin and body just about anywhere you shine it. It has so many benefits. In the beauty space, it helps with collagen formation, soft tissue healing, hair growth. It helps with acne healing, redness reduction, sun damage repair. And there are so many other benefits from brain health to pain management that are being studied. So there's a lot in this space that we're still finding out about. Red light encourages your mitochondria to produce ATP, which is like the energy of our cells. And as a result, we see that boost in collagen formation. We see an increase in lymphatic flow, which is what we were doing. We see blood flow increase. We see soft tissue healing, like I said, lowered oxidative stress, reducing inflammation. And this is as a result of consistent red light therapy use. So I find that there are also mind-body benefits. Again, it becomes a ritual. So taking a few moments to breathe deep, to pause and reflect while you use a light therapy device, because it's usually going to make you immobile, right? You have to sit down and use it. You have to take those 10 minutes to do the practice. And that could be a time to also piggyback some meditation or some breathing practices, or just a moment to step back and reflect on your day and how you feel. And there are so many benefits of that that are even beyond the red light themselves. So it becomes rejuvenating on so many levels. How to choose a therapy device for red light therapy? This is a good question. You want to first think about where you want to use it in your routine. If you want to use it on your face, there are wands that you can use that are very small. I brought one today. There are these lovely and kind of scary masks that you can wear. There are also red light therapy boxes. I have one of those as well, but it's a little heavier. But that kind of thing you can use in different areas of your body. So if there's an area that you want to support anti-inflammatory benefits on, or skin healing, you can move it around and it adapts a little better than something like a mask. So you have to choose what works for you. A 10-minute session a few times a week is a great amount. And I like it as a morning practice because, again, the light tends to wake me up. I think it's very stimulating. Others like it at night. They find that it helps them to relax. So again, you have to see how that light affects you, but I love it. Adding it into a routine because there are those cellular benefits to your mitochondria, but it also makes you just stop, reflect, check in. And that's the benefit of all of these practices, that it forces us to have this connection to ourselves, to check in with our body and just, make beauty about a little more than just kind of slapping something on our face or our skin and moving on. It makes it a real experience that is an activity that helps us care for ourselves better. So I hope these inspired you to try something new, or just maybe bring something back into your routine and refresh it, try something again. Layla says, do you have a recommendation for facial at home red light? I'm not sure what that word is. And for the hair, if you could clarify, I'm not exactly sure what you mean for that question. Red light for a facial, just let me know what you mean. And then Sarah asks, what about infrared sauna usage? So that one, again, can be a great practice. You have to have access to an infrared sauna, whether it's at a local spa or health club, or you can get a device in your home. But this one, I would definitely clear with your doctor because it does increase circulation. It does put some stress on the body that's going to cause you to sweat, but it can be incredibly anti-inflammatory and beneficial as well if you're in a phase of healing where that's appropriate for you. So very good question. Layla said, a mask for at home or a cap for the hair. I don't have a specific brand recommendation. There are so many out there and I can't even keep track, but I would definitely be very careful about reviews, make sure it's a company that has been vetted, but you will find tons of caps, tons of masks that are similar to this, lots of boxes that you can also use for a face, or you could use in areas of your head like a cap. So it depends on what you need it for. And I wish I had a particular brand, but there are just so many and they're constantly changing as we research and find out more. So I would continue and look around for one that fits your purpose the best. So next week, we're going to be doing nutrition for beauty. So this is a specialty of mine. So excited to have a session on this, how nutrition and digestion impact our appearance. Now, we're also going to do a special segment on hair nutrition info, which was requested on week 1. So I hope you'll join me next week for 20 more minutes, and we will do our empowered living on nutrition for beauty. Thank you all so much for joining today.